That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I hope all is well. I hope everyone's having a good time. Really late start tonight. I had to make dinner in between reading books tonight, so put me a little further behind. So I'm really not going to do too much preamble here tonight. Someone's here early or not, it is what it is. I do have one small announcement, and that is the monthly comic roundup will be live this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, barring any unforeseen incident. But yeah, it should be a good time. Simeon and I will be discussing our top books of the month, best cover, all that stuff. So if you just haven't had enough of hearing me talk about comics, there you go. Anyway, tonight we've got quite the stack, so yeah, I'm pretty much going to get right into it here. We'll be starting off things with Wonder Woman number 65, followed by Heroes in Crisis number 6, Black Hammer, Age of Doom number 8, Batman Beyond number 29, Superman Action Comics number 1008, Zorro Legendary Adventures number 3, The Flash number 65, which is part 4 of the Price storyline. And then for Trade Talk tonight, we'll be discussing Sensation Comics featuring Wonder Woman Volume 2. So lots of content, especially with an anthology-style collection for Trade Talk. It's going to be kind of a long episode. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with Wonder Woman number 65. So the last couple issues had set up kind of one thing, and this subverts it and does... Really, it's just the most Wonder Woman kind of thing you can do. So we were led to believe at the end of the first issue, or at the end of one of the issues, that and in last issue, that Veronica Cale had somehow acquired a mythical Greek god named Nemesis and was using her for nefarious purposes. So Wonder Woman, who is not the type to have enemies, like Wonder Woman's of course got a rogues gallery and everything, but she doesn't like to keep it. She always tries to reach out, tries to build bridges, supposed to rip them down. And so she's like, listen, Veronica Cale is manipulating this Nemesis goddess, so I'm going to go to her and try to, extend a hand. But while meeting with her, Wonder Woman realizes that Nemesis isn't the one being manipulated. It's Veronica Cale. So Wonder Woman does the exact thing that she was going to do for Nemesis to Veronica Cale, and seeks her out. And tries to, amend some of their most recent differences. And it's just, like everything with Wonder Woman, it's so good when it happens. Her and Veronica are just having this huge argument, and Veronica's just being super condescending and mean and just absolutely intolerable. She is very much a Lex Luthor type. I just want to read this line here. You think you're above it all, just floating in the atmosphere, consequence-free, while I... that's such a Lex Luthor kind of line. And then Wonder Woman just cuts through all that in a way that Superman never does. She just reaches out and hugs her. And I don't know, something about that is just... It's so unexpected. And I love Veronica's reaction to it. Because, of course, she's mad at Wonder Woman because they left her daughter on Themyscira, and it looks like Themyscira is gone. And so she thinks Wonder Woman convinced her to do the wrong thing, and that led to the death of her daughter. And so just the way Veronica Cale breaks down here, I just want her to be safe. I can't stop thinking about it, about being alone and scared and not understanding what was happening. And so Wonder Woman says she's going to find her. She's going to do everything she can to find not only her daughter, but her home, everything. And I really love how much of this issue is just based around emotion. Like, it's really telling that that Aphrodite is going to be playing a big part in this story arc, because we open the issue with Wonder Woman in tears because she's afraid she's lost her home forever, and we get pretty close to the end of the issue here with Veronica Cale in tears because she's pretty sure she's lost her daughter forever. It's a really good job of showing that these two characters have so much more in common than they have dividing them. It's really, really interesting. So Wonder Woman and Aphrodite go off on a mission to try to scour the earth for any hint of Olympus or Themyscira. And that's just, I really, really like that. That's a great premise for a story arc. And next, Giant Hunter is the tease that we're left with at the end. So, like, this is such a... I don't know how long this arc is going to be, and that actually really excites me. A lot of the times with story arcs in comics, I get kind of annoyed when the through line is like too long or too vague, and it just feels like, okay, come on, just get back to the meat. We're going off way too much. Whereas here, the whole point is it's going to be really hard to find Themyscira or Olympus. And we're going to run into looking for a magical kingdom kind of thing. We're going to be looking into things that are inherently dangerous because of their magical nature. I think that's really, really a strong premise, and we could get like a 12-issue arc out of that and not have it feel like it's dragging its feet. So I'm really excited by that. Anyway, artistically, I quite like the art in this issue. The art in the series has been a little on the lower side for me lately, and I think this is a new artist, Jesus Merino, Merino. I think that's different than the. I think that's a different person than who was doing maybe the last arc. But this just, I don't know, the art here looks really good. A lot of emotion conveyed. I really do love these panels of Wonder Woman. In the beginning, you just feel how distraught she is. We get some nice, creepy, freaky imagery of Nemesis and this brief fight she has with Wonder Woman. And yeah, I don't know, just a lot going on here. Again, this page of Veronica Cale breaking down, I thought was really, really impressive. Just a lot of genuine emotion here, and I really appreciated that. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to hold these up as long as I said I would. Actually, page previous has a great image of Wonder Woman. I like the way this page is laid out. That's a cool way to do it. But man, just a lot of great detail on Wonder Woman there. Alrighty. I bent the spine. Oh no. Let's see. Rakuma Ranger says, it's a shame this isn't shown more in other media. A stark difference between her and both Batman and Superman. Though it seems hard to make her compassion work correctly among mainstream media. That's what makes Wonder Woman such a good character. Is that she is so different from everything else. I don't want to get too much into it because I just have a lot more to go through this week. But, you know, Marston saw the way that boys were responding to Batman and Superman and what they liked about them. But he also saw the inherent problems that were on an undercurrent with them. And so he made Wonder Woman to get that same level of excitement, but to put different ideas into people's heads, to try to put a less... destructive isn't the right word. Or, you know, let's go with a more instead of less. Let's use a more compassionate side of thought. Marston was a female supremacist, which makes, certain things people have said about Wonder Woman really confusing. Like, it's kind of infamous, and I try not to give him too much shit for it. I think he's an artist. He's not necessarily the best with his words. David Finch, when he did the run on Wonder Woman with his wife and at the tail end of the New 52, he gave this really infamous interview where he's like, we want to make Wonder Woman like really strong and independent. I don't know if I want to use the word feminist, but kind of like that. And it's just such like a what the fuck does that even mean moment. But when you hear people say that kind of stuff, or when you see people like, oh, I like the Wonder Woman movie because it was more about equality instead of feminism, I'm like, anyway, I don't want to get too much into it. But that is an intensely interesting discussion. Okay, let's go ahead and move on and talk about Heroes in Crisis number 6. Tom King, stop it, Tom King, you're killing me. Fantastic issue, absolutely fantastic issue, kind of to die for. And it's even got Mitch Gerads in it on a couple pages. I know this issue we got the credits at the end, so I gotta look at the end here. So let's see here. Clayman did pages 1 and 20. Mitch Gerads did pages 2 through 19. Yeah. King Gerads, always great combo. Gerads, of course, getting through just some intensely emotional things, and I'm not sure what Gerads does better. Really simple facial expressions that capture a lot in like a deceptive manner, or really great scenery. Because I'm thinking back to a lot of Mr. Miracle and to the recent issue he did with King on Batman, and just so much of the background scenery communicates so much of what's going on when Gerads is working with King, that it's just wow. And I definitely had that with this book. I keep saying this. I really, really hope we get a Sanctuary book like we were promised. It is criminal how much I adore these therapy sessions. Like the tragedy that exists with the murder here is creating a driving force for the narrative. It's creating conflict, which is necessary for a good story. But I don't even know if you need like Sanctuary to be a serialized thing with like a proper story and narrative to it. Like I would be perfectly fine if every issue was just 22 pages of these talking at you testimonials, and then these holodeck-esque scenarios. Because it's just so good. I love it so much. I had to tweet this because he so got me with it. It was so fucking perfect. I kind of lost my shit. I gotta find it. So we have Gnark, Gnarrk, who is a DC character I've never heard of, and I like to consider myself a pretty big DC fan. And yet Tom King keeps finding characters I've literally never heard of at all. And he's just killing me with it. It's just so good. God damn it, why can't I find the page? I keep skipping over it, I know it. So yeah, he's introduced this character I've never heard of. And this is apparently a caveman who was frozen and woke up in, the modern times and is now living in society. And he's in his holodeck simulation and sanctuary. And everything we see him do is reminiscent of what he would have been doing as a caveman. So he's like hunting deer and he's riding a mastodon, which sounds it tracks for DC caveman. And he says, question is old day better than new day? Narc not sure. This was most day in old day as he's hunting a deer. And then he gets attacked by this guy. You want to eat, he want to eat. So fight. You win, you eat. He win, he eat. In old day, death always there. So narc worry about death. New day, life always there. So now, narc worry about life. That one absolutely slays me with just how good it is. Caveman explains anxiety. Not just anxiety, the philosophy around anxiety. So the King's quoting philosophers left and right here, and he's just summarizing them. So it's hard not to talk philosophy when you're talking about this. And I can't remember the name of the philosopher off the top of my head. But there's this idea of hierarchy of needs. In order to worry about certain things, you need already to have certain other things met. You can't worry about your future 10 years from now, your future health 10 years from now, if you're not sure you're going to be able to eat at the end of the day. You can't worry about your financial stability 10 years from now if you're not sure if you're going to be able to pay the rent at the end of the month. You do not have the luxury of those kinds of worries because of your immediate needs. If your immediate needs are met, then you can have the worries of longer term. You can't worry about your health if you're too busy worried about your immediate needs. And so if you have, it's really interesting. It's doing the thing I love with comics where we take these crazy, wacky ideas and just turn them into these really introspective things on how we live, how we think. Okay, so you're a caveman. You've lived your whole life as a caveman, hunter-gatherer. Suddenly you find yourself in a cold block of ice for 10,000 years. You wake up and it's 2019. What do you do with that? How do you go from there? Obviously, this is the fun thing about the exaggeration, because the true answer is they'd never be able to even learn a language. Like the scientific background there, you'd never be able to comprehend these kinds of things. But it's comics, so of course you can learn English and all this stuff. But just the idea of okay, so now he's learned, now he's grown, now he's become a member of society, but he still has those old memories. So just what do you do from there? Is really, really interesting to me. Where do you go from there? All of your previous needs, your entire life was about how am I going to eat? And then suddenly, that's all gone. You don't have to worry about that ever again. How do you react to that? I find this shit really, really fascinating. Harley and Ivy get some really great stuff here too. Nice, sweet issue with them as Ivy tries to help Harley deal with her trauma. And it gets pretty fucking twisted, which was pretty enjoyable, not gonna lie. As they just go out to a field and start brutally murdering Jokers. And I quite enjoyed that. Like, I love this image. Again, so much in scenery. Something tells me that was not in the script. That Harley's sitting on a pile of dead Joker bodies. I thought that was pretty good. And then, of course, Wally West is here. And we get more of the tragedy of Wally West. So we mirror this image from DC Rebirth #1. The big moment that gave us Rebirth was Jeff Johns saying that they'd made a miscalculation with New 52 and they'd removed hope from the universe. And so his way of bringing that hope back was to bring back Wally West, the proper Wally West. Nothing wrong with the black Wally West, but it's obviously not the same character now. So to bring back Wally West Prime, and that is hope brought back to the universe. But with that, we did not bring back his family. And so what does that do to Wally West? Oh, we have hope again. Great. Where's mine? How am I hope if I am hopeless? How am I hope if I'm in despair because I do not have my family? The tragedy of Wally West could be the name of this series. Because he has, like, there's been Booster stuff and Harley stuff. Almost the entirety of this series is revolved around Wally West the most. He is the character that we've gone the furthest in depth on. We've done a lot with Harley. We've done a fair amount with Booster. But Wally West, I feel like I have a better understanding of his character in this than anyone else in this series. So yeah, when Heroes in Crisis first started, I was a little iffy on it in comparison, and I still got some criticisms of it. The murder mystery stuff, I am getting further and further invested in, but I still love the moments of reflection so much more. And I've talked about some of the art that Clay Mann's doing that has problems. But so much of what this series does just gets right at my heart, man. It just, oof, in the gut. Issue number 3 and issue number 6 are the best of the series so far. They work really well together, I think. Okay, let's go ahead and move on and talk about Black Hammer, Age of Doom, number 8. Alright, so when we last left the Black Hammer crew, they were exiting the Weird Zone, and Colonel Weird was dropped from the group, and went off on his own adventure, where he broke the fourth wall into just bajillions of pieces as he left the creative mind of Jeff Lemire, and stood on his shoulder and witnessed the scope of creativity behind a comic book. So it's like, was that it for Colonel Weird? Is that the end of his story? Is he going off to do something else? Is that the end of the story for the other characters? So we don't really know. So we get to this issue, and you open it up and you get a comic book cover, which looks a lot like the Abraham Slam of this universe and stuff, but it's different. This is Punch Slockingham. Or no, Sockingham. Punch Sockingham. Socklingham. Whatever. And then you turn it, and we're suddenly back in Spiral City, and we're following Lucy again, but she's not a reporter anymore. So there's obviously been some kind of change up to things. And the whole issue is about, like, where our characters are now in the mainline, in the main universe. And so Abe's a security guard, Lucy's a waitress, Barb Alien is still back on Mars, and he's an exile because he's considered a pervert for, they call him a fornicator, so I think it's just for having sex, though it's hard to tell if it's that he's homosexual, because his whole problem the last time we got a big peek into his past was that he was homosexual. And I can't remember if that extended to Mars or if it was just that he was in any kind of relationship. But anyway, so he's on Mars still in exile with his partner, and they're building a spaceship to try to leave the planet. Which is interesting. So there's all this stuff going on, and when Lucy gets a call ordering a pizza, but she's told, all right, fine. I knew your father, and I need you to come talk to me. I can't tell you anything else. I need to talk to you in person. So she goes, talks to this guy in person, because she has questions about her father. And it's Talkie-Walkie, the robot that was destroyed so many issues ago. Talkie-Walkie says, hello, Lucy, it is me, Talkie-Walkie, and we need to find the others before it is too late. And Lucy's reaction is, holy fuck. So yeah, this like, is not just resetting status quo or anything. This is obviously continuing the story. So they crossed in out of the weird zone, and now things aren't the same. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about Batman Beyond, number 29. The Last Robin? Question mark, exclamation point? Okay. Everyone get a good look at the cover. I hope so. So we have Terry, distraught. He needs to get trot. Young Justice reference. And we have, Bruce holding the dead body of a Robin. Let's assume it's Jason, just for just to be concise. So last issue, Joker kidnapped Matt. So given where this series has gone so far, that it's made every obvious choice it possibly could. We have a cover with a dead fucking Robin on it, Terry distraught, and the Joker's kidnapped Robin. Matt's dead, right? Like, we all know that going into it. Like, there's just no way that he's alive. Matt's alive. Congratulations to Dan Jurgens for not doing the most obvious thing, but for instead doing the thing that is slightly less obvious. This story arc has probably been the weakest the series has been so far, because Terry's just not the main character. And not even Matt is the main character. This story has almost entirely been about Bruce and how he keeps bringing people in to be Robin and bringing people into his war. And the consequences that happen with that. And so that's not ideal, but at least we didn't just introduce Matt just to kill him. So there's like a big whole thing with the thing and the Joker wanting to know who they're talking to, who do they keep calling Bruce, and yada 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 yada. And then like all this shit goes down. It is shocking how little importance most of this issue has to the actual story. So I swear I like this book. I just have nothing but negative things to say about it for some reason. And that feels dumb. And I feel bad for that. But at the same time, I don't know. Is it okay if I call it a turn your brain off and just go along the ride kind of book? Like, if you think about it, it's pretty stupid and it's pretty obvious. But at the same time, it's Batman Beyond, and there's Robin Beyond, and that's cool, and it's fun. And they've so far not made any choices that are, like, blatantly insulting. Yeah, this story arc has kind of put Terry in the back seat, but it hasn't insulted the character. It's just been a Bruce-focused story arc. That's far from the worst thing. Oh my god, a Bruce Wayne story arc in a Batman comic. What? Anyway. So yeah, Joker shows up in the Batcave with a gun to Robin's head. And he shoots Dick Grayson's daughter in the shoulder. And demands that that Bruce let him kill him, or he'll kill the boy. Okay, whatever. They fight. He uses a crowbar, which is, it's poignant. I like that. It's apparently the crowbar that killed Jason, which is kind of cool. But Bruce remembers his ninja training and is able to take the blow across the shoulder and catch the Joker's crowbar, or catch the Joker's arm, and take his gun out, and we get like this menacing scene of, oh my god, is he gonna shoot the Joker? I can't believe it. But then, as the Joker tries to egg him on to do it, as he so often does, he suffers a heart attack. Does anyone else remember the scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail where, like, they're being chased through the cave by the poorly animated monster with 1,000 eyes, and then they're like, but then, just as they were cornered, the animator had a sudden heart attack. Like, everyone remembers that, right? Like, that, just as the Joker was about to kill him, he had a sudden heart attack. Dead. Okay. Whatever. It's such a fucking cop-out. Jurgens clearly wrote himself into a scene where he had to either kill Robin or come up with some bullshit. He chose to come up with some bullshit. I just don't even care. I'm just like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Just give me more one-and-done Batman Beyond stories with Robin Beyond, please. So anyways, yeah, Joker's dead. Robin survived. The next issue is called Last Rites. I don't know, I'm assuming maybe some kind of kooky, crazy, oh, maybe I'm dead, but I've got one last prank on Gotham kind of thing. Who knows? It's not good. Like, I cannot sit here with a straight face and tell you that I thought this was a good issue, or even that this story arc's been any good. But maybe it is a level of bad where it's not insultingly bad. It's not like I feel like I'm getting dumber while I read it. It doesn't piss me off. It doesn't do character assassinations. It's just kind of like dumb fun. And so I sit here and I try to review it, and I'm like, yeah, no, this doesn't really work. This doesn't really work. But, I read it, I'm like, okay, all right. And maybe $4 is too much to spend for that level of entertainment for some people. I'd certainly understand that. This feels like it's building to a conclusion. I'm not sure what the sales are on this book. Maybe Jurgens is doing this last story arc to just kind of wrap stuff up and hand it over. He's given us Robin Beyond. He's given us a couple cool story arcs that I like. I like the arc with the villain that was created because Batman was too brutal with someone. I thought that was a pretty good idea for like a new Scarecrow. There are ideas here that I've really enjoyed and stuff, so it's far from the worst series. Could someone else have done it better? Yes, clearly, but it's not like it was done terribly. I'm still unconvinced that Dan Jurgens watched much of, if any, Batman Beyond. That remains, I think, the biggest problem with this. I'm not convinced he ever watched the series or the Return of the Joker movie, and that's probably an issue. All right, let's go ahead and move on and talk about Action Comics number 1008, Leviathan Rising, Part 2. So we've got all these people pointing guns at Jimmy Olsen. Adam Strange is meeting with Director Bones. I like the way that Bendis writes Director Bones. When suddenly a big spiky monster appears on this super secret, super secure government building and blows it the fuck up. Adam Strange is just barely able to get a couple people out of there. And Director Bones is like, the fuck? I don't know. It's hard to tell how that scene's meant to be played. Like, is that supposed to be despair? I don't know much about Director Bones. He doesn't seem like the despair type. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Then Amanda Waller and General Lane. What's Lois Lane's dad's first name? Is it Scott? Why do I think it's Scott Lane? That doesn't sound right. Huh. Anyone know the name of Lois's dad? McPick says, wait, I draw the line on this. Bones shouldn't be in charge of the DEO. He lost his job in Supergirl last year. Oh. You mean a continuity error happened in a comic book? Yeah, okay. I didn't know that, nor do I care. Sam Lane. So Amanda Waller and Sam Lane meet in a secluded spot to discuss what's going on since Amanda Waller was attacked and Cobra Cult's been wiped out, and then she can't find Task Force X and the DEO has been attacked and all this stuff. And then they realized that neither of them called this meeting. They both just showed up for it because they thought the other did. And so they try to run out of the building real quick, but it looks like it's too late. And explosion happens. Then we cut over to Superman and Lois. I think halfway through the issue, literally at the halfway point with the staples, is too late to put the damn title of the story arc. I feel like at that point you should just wait till the end. But to each his own, Bendis. Anyway, so Lois makes her triumphant return to the Daily Planet because she's looking, or because something's happened with Jimmy, and they try talking to Jimmy, and he tells them about the Cobra thing that happened last issue. For some reason, Amanda Waller shoots Sam Lane. I don't know why. Didn't make much sense to me. If whoever knew how to set us up, they know we have Argus Personnel Field Tech. They're still here, Lane. This is Ohio, Amanda. I know a safe house. Then she just randomly shoots the fuck out of him, and he says, damn it, Amanda. I don't... That was surprising. Anyway, Lois and Clark are back home when suddenly Amanda Waller walks in the front door and says, "Sorry, Superman, but this is important." So, I don't know. Just an okay issue. Like I said, Bendis is a little more on shaky ground for me. I was really on board with him when he first jumped on the books, and the decision with John has really undercut him a lot for me. It's made me very it's made me less confident in the direction he's taking the series. But that is one isolated decision and a pool of other things that I'm enjoying. So I'm not like hating anything here. I did find it a little suspect that Lois Lane had never told her father about her relationship with Superman, but at the same time, Also, it's a little fucked up that Sam Lane has ever had any animosity to Superman, given the number of times he's saved Lois Lane. Like, it is common knowledge in every version of the DC universe that Superman always saves Lois Lane. So there's no way that he didn't know that. And so the idea that he's upset with her, or upset with Superman, and doesn't trust Superman, is just like, dude, come on, he's saved your daughter countless fucking times. Half the time it's not, like, not even a quarter of the time is it his fault how many times he's saved his daughter. Yeah, I don't know. That was a little suspect to me. I don't think that's Bendis. I'm pretty sure that is pre-established continuity that he doesn't trust him, and I'm like, that's dumb. That's just dumb to me. Anything to say about the art in here? Who's doing the art in this issue? Steve Epting. Yeah, not much. I like this page. It's cool. Not really sure if I got anything. It's kind of just there for me. It's definitely not bad. It's not doing anything that's really impressing me. There's a lot of across the page spread, but still broken up into panels. There's a couple sequences like that. And I thought it was used well. I didn't have much trouble following it. I think there was only one spot where I got a little confused. So, good work on that. Where's it at? Yeah, this page. I got a little confused there. I went from this panel down to this panel. But when I realized that didn't make any sense, I re-picked up how you're supposed to read it. So a little bit of a stumble there, but really it's all pretty effectively done. A lot more horizontal pages and stuff, so that's cool. Yeah, I don't really have anything else. I thought this was well done. You know, it did the trick I like that helps you keep moving as you're reading this. Like when you're gonna break it up like that. This kind of thing right here, where the bottom panel bleeds over the line, but doesn't have any pertinent, super important artwork there. I think that's always a good decision. Just helps your eyes flow across the page a little bit. Let's see here. Sam Lane is against Superman because he believes more Americans' military complex, so views Superman as a threat to that. Yeah, no, I get the justifications for the character if he is a military man and all that stuff, but at the same time, that's really dumb. He's literally saved your daughter countless fucking times. You should just be okay with him. The fact that you have any doubt about him shows that you are clearly in the wrong because he saved your daughter countless times. I don't know. I find that just a poor choice in any version. Oh man, I'm having a night. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Talk about Zorro Legendary Adventures number 3. Couple stories in this one. Again, for those that don't know, this is not new material for Zorro. I mean, you take one look at the art and you know that immediately. It's clearly just not modern day comic art. But these are reprints of old French comics that were published in Disney, in a French Disney magazine. So the first story is called The Captain's Ball, in which Don Diego and his father are invited to a ball that the military captain is throwing at the Los Angeles Inn. But the night before, the day before the ball happens, Garcia and his men are held up by bandits and their uniforms are taken. And then when the ball's happening, some guys use the uniforms to sneak into the party and then hold the joint up and rob everyone. And then Zorro shows up to stop them, but they take the captain hostage and kidnap him. And Zorro cleverly follows along and finds them and finds that the captain is in fact in with the bandits, and he kills one of the bandits, and Zorro has to fight him and steal back the things that were stolen that the captain was trying to take possession of, and he returns them. That would be a fine story in and of itself. I really wouldn't have a problem with it, except for the fact that the captain fucking kills a guy. And Zorro doesn't seem to do anything about that. He just returns the valuables. Man is dead through the captain's greed. You should really do more than just, oh, good, now here's your watches and your jewelry's back. No, that guy humiliated him, foiling his plan to get rich. That's not enough. He fucking murdered a guy. Yeah, he was a bandit. He was a thief. Yeah. That's yeah. He fucking murdered that dude. And I don't know. It's so weird because it was such an unnecessary decision to have him murder the guy. He could have just beaten him up, knocked him out or something. He straight shoots him. And so that's kind of fucked up. Next issue is called The Removal, in which Zorro is riding with Tornado when he falls off and gets knocked out, and the soldiers are able to follow Tornado to a stable. And so, believing that the owner of the stable is Zorro, they arrest him. And so Zorro has to find a way to exonerate the guy accused of being Zorro and also get his horse back. Which he does by kidnapping Don Diego, which is literally what happened a couple issues ago. So last issue. So beginning to see that they're gonna reuse some plot elements here. And that's fine. That's whatever. And then we have the final story, which changes artists or art styles and coloring styles drastically, unless, I don't know, like either they change colorists or artists drastically, or this is some kind of problem with getting these issues prepped and ready for reprint. The story is called Zorro, the Kinkajou Thief. And you just look at it and it's like everything is so saturated. Maybe they had to recolor it. Maybe it was in black and white and it was never meant to be in color. I don't know. Something about this just does not look right. There's no way that's the original colors, right? Like, I feel like I'm crazy, but there's just no way that could be the original colors. What is the written by Homer Brightman and Richard Moore, originally presented. Yeah, they don't give us any editor-in-chief. No, they don't give us any kind of like recolorist or anything. Oh, whatever they did, it does not look good. Anyway, people have been getting stuff stolen. This probably is the longest story because just of the way the paneling is laid out here. People have been getting their stuff stolen. There's a new guy in town, and he's got this pet monkey thing who he's been training to steal things, and Zorro has to kind of get him caught, basically. And that's pretty much the end of it. Zorro devises a way to trick him into being found out by the police, and so he's arrested. It's just fine. The art's just super fucking distracting. I almost feel it's like this is less like a single little one and done story from a comic, and more like a recurring strip, especially with the way it's paneled out. But I really don't know. I don't know. Just okay. Again, I don't love this series or anything. It's pretty much just doing your Disney Zorro basics, but it's fun, it's simple, it's sweet, so I really do appreciate it for that, if nothing else. It's just basic, by the numbers Zorro plots, and that's fun. Let's go ahead and close out with the last single issue of the week, which is The Flash number 65. This is part 4 of the Price story arc, the crossover with Batman. And in this, they are still dealing with the threat of Gotham Girl, who is using her powers in kind of an all-out way, which is burning through her lifespan. And they're trying everything they can do to get her to stop, until finally her powers just finally eat through her body and damn near kill her. She just drops from the sky dead. Batman doesn't have the ability or the tech to save her. Luckily, Flash does. So he performs like super CPR and gives her an electroshock, mouth to mouth. And the whole time, all he can think about is losing Wally recently. To the point where he even says that there, please, Wally, as he's giving her mouth to mouth, because he's just so thinking about Wally. And then he's able to save her, saying, we're not losing another one. And they got to get her back to the cave for medical attention. But Iris West was there, and she saw the whole thing, and she's pissed off at Batman and Barry for everything they've been doing. They get her back to the cave and get Gotham Girl stabilized. Bruce says that there's no way for him to not train Claire now. She's going to try to be a hero no matter what. And because she was trying behind his back, she got in a lot of trouble, and she, got taken advantage of. So he has to help her. And then that leads to this kind of argument that's been brewing between Barry and Bruce the whole time about the price of the masks. Who pays it? It's the loved ones. It's the people we care about. We pay the price so our loved ones don't have to. But they do, Bruce, they do, because we keep failing them. This pain, it never stops. This life never stops. Every day there's a new case to investigate. There are too many mysteries. But there's one thing we did solve. We are the ones putting our loved ones in danger. Our friends, our families, all of them. Another bullet for Alfred, another abduction for Isis, another innocent in the crossfire, another dead Robin. And so you can really tell that there's a lot of emotion, a lot of heated stuff. And in those moments is when we're all at our weakest and we all probably make our worst decisions. And so Bruce says, at least I never forgot one of my partners existed. I could hit you 100 times before you could throw one punch. But I'm not you. And then he leaves. There's so much to unpack there. Because that is like always been the justification for why the mask. Why does the superhero have to wear the mask? And the justification has always been, well, it's to protect their loved ones. You know, Peter Parker just let everyone know that he was Peter Parker, then people that are mad at Spider-Man would come and beat the shit out of Aunt May. But of course, how many times have Aunt May and Mary Jane been kidnapped? How many times has Lois Lane been kidnapped or put in danger because of Superman? How many times have we done stories where the loved ones who are being protected by the heroes are put in danger because of the heroes? And that's the price. The price of loyalty, which is the name of this chapter. And, you know, it's not wrong. And so, to have Bruce just... I think Barry... Like there's going to be a lot of people here who are going to say, oh, Bruce was such a dick for saying that. I think Barry was a dick, too. I think they're both dicks in this situation. I think most superheroes are actually kind of dicks. To one extent or another. I'll give Alan Moore a little bit of credit for that one. If you were to actually put superheroes in real life, they'd be kind of manipulative assholes. But I think, particularly in this situation, I think both Bruce and Barry are being dicks right there. That Bruce definitely shouldn't have touched that fucking nerve. But that Barry's like, oh, we're the ones making our loved ones pay the price. You know, and then these consequences keep happening. And it's like, you know, you're not wrong, but you're throwing it in his face because you just lost yours, but he's lost his in the past. So it's I'll say this. Barry's comes out of a place of distraught. What Bruce said so he'd hurt him. I think that is an important distinction. Bruce intended to hurt. Barry was stating things because it's what he's going through. I don't know. It's definitely interesting. Anyway, so Barry runs home and finds no Iris, just a note. Dear Barry, when I started to write Wally's obituary, I was so angry that I struggled with how it should open. Talk about his never-ending battle. Is it better to burn out? Whatever doesn't kill you. At what cost? Nothing felt right or fitting for the young man I raised and loved. But then the obvious hit me. His name was Wally West, and he was the Flash. He put his life on the line every day to make the world a better place. He felt if he wore a bright red and yellow costume and a smile, he'd help people keep up hope during trying times. He took on the hardest parts of life so others wouldn't have to. But then I realized something. Barry, I wasn't writing Wally's obituary. I was writing yours. I heard what you said to Gotham Girl about Wally. You wanted him to stop following in your footsteps, but you knew he wouldn't have listened. Wally idolized you, so I know that if I asked you to quit this life, you would try, you'd leave the costume behind. You decided but it wouldn't last. You said long ago that you're willing to pay the price for this life. But I can't. I love you with all my heart, but it's too much. I'm going to go away for a while, figure some things out. You've saved my life so many times, I think I should live it. But that's the real cost, isn't it? You can save everyone from this life but yourself, and then you're all alone. Ouch! Ouch! That's... That's hurtful. I really did like that. Like, I've had my complaints about this arc being maybe a little too wordy. And this issue's probably no exception, but that letter, that was really good. Williamson is a bit hit and miss for me as a writer. Yeah, and that's not even just like issue to issue, story to story. That'll be within the same issue. He does things that hit and does things that miss for me. But man, that one just knocks it out of the park. I have a real thing for downer stories. I really do. Like, we're doing the War Games arc on Geeky Gentleman over the next couple weeks. And it just... you can go watch the War Drums episode, and I'm just like, it's just so sad. I love it. There's a sad story. It's sad. And like, that's kind of the best story I could have. It's a sad story, so it's good. And that's kind of where I am here. Like, that's a really sad ending, so that makes it good. What the fuck does that say about me? No, I like the tragedy. I like the angst. It's the proper level of angst and broodiness, you know? It's like that scene in The Dark Knight where she's like, I told you that when the world no longer needs Batman, we can be together. But I'm not sure the time will ever come where you no longer need Batman. And I'm just like, it's like the letter gets burnt and Bruce is sitting all alone in the fucking penthouse, like still wearing the partial Batman costume. People don't give that shit enough credit. That is my Batman right there. When he's wearing parts of the costume but not the whole thing. We don't get that nearly enough in the comic and outside the comics. But like it's right up there with that kind of moment for me, and so I really, really enjoyed it. There's a brief epilogue where Batman and Superman are investigating some kind of mystery that's involving a bunch of DC Universe heroes, and Superman asks if they can trust Barry, and Batman doesn't have an answer for him. So I thought that was an interesting conclusion. I'm assuming that's where Williamson's going to go with the Flash storyline. From here on, I really don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not feeling Williamson's writing enough to really pick it up. I might consider going back to this era, this run, once it's all done in trade. Maybe, very, very slight maybe. But as far as singles, I'm sorry, it's just not my jam. Though he does manage to impress me. I'm sure the time will come where Williamson will be on a book I want to read consistently. He was on it with Odyssey, and I was right about there with him, but then Sejic dropped, and I didn't have enough interest outside of it without Sejic there. I thought Williamson had some good ideas with Justice League Odyssey, but then Sejic wasn't there, and I was like, like half the reason I was getting the book was Sejic. Like, or not even that. Like, 75% of the reason I was getting the book was all because of Sejic, and I was like, Williamson's here, so maybe he'll get some cool stuff out there, too. And I kind of liked his premise. And that's kind of where I am with Williamson. I like some of what he's doing enough, and I'm sure he's really gonna knock it out of the park for me eventually, because he writes really well on quite a bit of things. Like, he does good work here and there. Like, I guess I'm thinking of Williamson kind of like I am with Tynion. Like, Tynion never really did anything that I was super impressed by, but now that he's on Justice League Odyssey, he's just, bam, he's really got that book down. He knows exactly what he wants it to be. And I feel like Williamson's going to get there for me eventually. He's going to find that project that he's going to work on, and I'm going to love the premise and love what he's doing with it. But we're just not there yet. Okay. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go on to Trade Talk. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. This week we're discussing Sensation Comics featuring Wonder Woman Volume 2. So, for people that don't know what this is, Sensation Comics featuring Wonder Woman was a really cool series that DC did toward the end of the mid to the end of New 52. I remember it was coming out along with like the Convergence story arc. Those ran concurrently for a while. And what this did is every issue was multiple or maybe just one, depending on the length, one and done Wonder Woman stories in any fucking continuity the writer wanted. Most of them just went for like a vague Wonder Woman status quo. Some of them did really weird stuff, which was kind of cool. Like there was one story I remember in Volume 1 where Wonder Woman was a rock star. And that was her status quo. She was also a rock star. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, this does like just a bunch of different stories. And I'm just going to go through, not necessarily all of them, but I'll go through the ones that I liked. First story is called Generations, and it's about Wonder Woman on a quest for the egg of a phoenix. Because apparently once a phoenix is reborn in its ashes coalesce and combine into an egg that does not hatch, but an egg nonetheless, and the egg is made of pure myrrh. Which is a really cool idea. I actually really like that. The art in this issue is absolutely gorgeous. I love this kind of art for Wonder Woman. It's got so much great lighting in this. But anyway, as she's attempting to get the egg, she's attacked brutally by the cheetah, and it's a whole fight. And meanwhile, there's some stuff going on with her mother. It's Hippolyta's birthday, and Wonder Woman's trying to get the egg for her, and it's all just a big birthday present. But Cheetah doesn't know that. She thinks the egg has the secret to immortality. And anyway, it ends up, she gets the egg, and she's just kind of pissed because it turns out it is just a world's greatest mom gift. It's kind of fun, kind of sweet. Ultimately, it's about the idea of trying to grow, trying to appease and please your parent. It was kind of sweet. Nice little mother-daughter story. Issue number 2 is not included. This is a story where Big Barda and Wonder Woman team up and fight Brain, or the Brain. Not Pinky and the Brain, just the Brain. And I don't know, this one's art style is a little rougher. I'm not sure if DC was using this as kind of like a alright kid, we'll give you a chance kind of thing. So this one, the artist on this issue is Matthew Dow Smith. And I remember some of the other issues had like, I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. This is gonna sound mean, and I really don't mean it to. But some of the issues had like really not professional art. Really low quality, non-professional style art. This one isn't the worst or anything, but this is kind of an example of it, where it's just like, that's not the best kind of art to look at. I'm sorry. It's not bad. It's a million times better than anything I could do. But it does look amateurish by modern comic book standards. And so I was a little... I'm just wondering if DC was using this as like, oh, okay, kid, we'll give you a shot. Like, you can do some art for a little one-and-done comic kind of thing. But this is a pretty good story in that Wonder Woman talks to the Brain, is like, okay, why are you here? What are you trying to steal? and it's revealed that, it's trying to get some chemicals or whatever so it can prolong its life because its containment suit's gonna not be able to support the brain. And one of them promises, that's all you need. You don't have to steal it. We'll help you. We'll let you use it temporarily and help you continue to survive if you surrender peacefully and turn yourself in. And that's just very Wonder Woman, super Wonder Woman kind of moment right there. Next issue we have is Venus Rising, written by Alex deCampi, with art by Neil Good. This is a really cool one because you get this Wonder Woman in a hijab, which is kind of neat. I really like the art on that. That's a really fun image. But it has nothing to do with the Middle East. She's actually comes to a space station from the Middle East, and it's about this space station that's in orbit around Venus, and there's all these things going wrong with it. And Wonder Woman gets a costume change, so she gets her space Wonder Woman suit, which is kind of cool. And the station has a malfunction, and people look like they're dying, and then there's giant monsters, and then they realize, the giant monsters aren't giant monsters. They're not Venetian monsters. They're the people we think we're losing. They've been converted into Venetians. And this is what life on Venus looks like. Yay! But they're happy here, so we'll leave them. This story probably did the weakest to me. I don't know. Something about it was just like, not. Like it's really random and kind of kooky, but not necessarily in a way that I find super fun. But artistically, I thought it was a step up from the last one, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Rescue Angel is written by Amy Chu with art by Bernard Chang. I love Bernard Chang's art. He was doing the art in the Batman Beyond comic for a little while there. So this is interesting. It's about a female soldier who's in Afghanistan, trying to be a bit of a liaison for villages there, so she can, so that villages can send their young girls to school. I love this line that we get in here. This country is from one of the women running the school for young girls. This country is changing slowly. We have female generals in the ANA Army now. Not many, but it's a start. These girls risk their lives every day to come to this school. They are, I am proud to say, the first to get an education in their family. The Taliban may use force and intimidation to get their way, but they will lose. Why are you so sure? Because, young lady, these girls are our future, and you cannot stop the future from happening. I really, really like that. That's a very, very good positive message. While the military convoy is on its way back to base, they are attacked by the Taliban, and the female liaison soldier that we had here is trying to save one of her partners. What's the word I want here? I don't know. One of her fellow soldiers. And when it looks like she just can't do it, she's not going to be able to pull through and save more of them, suddenly Wonder Woman's hand extends and says, "Get up, Angel. Get up, soldier. We're not leaving anyone behind." And Wonder Woman helps her save everyone in the crew until they're extracted by helicopter. And she's really woozy, and as the helicopter's taking off, she says, "What about her?" As we see Wonder Woman saluting it from the flames and says, "What are you mumbling about?" And then we get like the big reveal. Wonder Woman's just a comic book character. The soldier did it on her own. Wonder Woman was there in her head, pushing her on. And I really like that. That's very, very positive message. Really enjoyed that issue. And it just, like, these are the kinds of things, this is why I love these short one-and-done stories. so much good happens in issues like that. Sabotage is in the Stars, written by Heather Nuhfer and art by Ryan Benjamin. I forgot about this one. The art in here is absolutely gorgeous. Wonder Woman stops a meteorite that was about to destroy India's equivalent of NASA launch. But luckily Wonder Woman was able to save it. She dissects the meteorite, however, because it was really suspicious that in all the land base that it could have hit, it was going to hit this rocket launch. And she finds a microchip in it. And turns out Lex Luthor has developed a way to direct meteorites. And then there's a attempt to sabotage the rocket, because this is such a threat to Lex Luthor's business empire that a backward third world country like India is finding a cost-effective way to travel to space. It's going to cut into his profits. So he's trying to sabotage the launch left and right. But Wonder Woman's able to stop it a couple different ways, and they stop it. The day is saved. Fine story. I like the art more in this one, to be honest. Again, you open it up and just that first 2 pages are just really gorgeous stuff right there. I really like that. Man. Especially that first panel. That is a great eye catcher of a first panel. Wonder World, written by James Tynion IV, with art by Noelle Stevenson. So Noelle Stevenson is the head writer, showrunner, I'm not sure what you want to call it, of the Netflix She-Ra show. And she's made her name in comics here and there. Is kind of an up-and-coming voice and artist. She does do art, though she has a very distinct style, I should say. She's not... She is more of an experimental thing. I'll show you some of her art, and I'll compare it to this story I was kind of ragging on a bit earlier. I will say Noelle Stevenson's art style is not on the level I expect for quote-unquote professional comic book artist. But what really matters is the context in which you tell the story, the context in which you use the art. So like when I talk about this story arc, or this story, the art not really looking super professional, well, it's more of a problem because of the type of story it's telling is pretty basic and doesn't really justify any kind of experimental or different, unique kind of art style. You get to Wonder World with Noelle Stevenson's art style, and it's a much more laid-back, slice-of-life, kind of fun, kooky adventure moment. And so this, more, laid-back, kind of sketchy art style, it just works a lot better. It fits the tone of the story a lot more. So in this story, Wonder Woman, in fact, traveled to Mann's world at a much younger age for a visit. She ran away from home and traveled to Mann's world and ended up on Coney Island's pier, or something similar to it, and ran into a group of girls and spent the evening hanging out with them. She found a girl who was crying and mad because some boys in the arcade wouldn't let her play Dance Dance Retribution. So Wonder Woman challenges them for honor in the game. And of course, Wonder Woman does fantastic work and beats the game. Meanwhile, her Amazon protectors are trying to find her. So she wins. And the guy, foolishly and in a chauvinist male bravado kind of way, bet his shirt that she wouldn't be able to beat him. And so I love this moment where they just cut to like her saying, "Hey, you didn't honor your part of the bargain." And they cut to she's just running down the pier with her new friends wearing the dude's shirt. It's really funny. Anyway, and we just see Wonder Woman and the girls have a great time. Noelle Stevenson keeps putting in this joke, and this is probably I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Jeff Johns has had one of the most profound impacts on Wonder Woman's character ever. That's weird to say because one, he's never written a Wonder Woman run. He's barely wrote her in Justice League. He gave her like one moment, and it's stuck so damn well. The ice cream thing. So we see her having ice cream and for the first time really enjoying it, and then doing more girl stuff at the pier, playing laser tag, going shopping, and then they're back and she's having more ice cream and everyone's getting concerned, and they go do some dancing and some looking up at the stars, and then she goes back for more ice cream, but they have to stop her. And everything's got Wonder Woman eating ice cream now. It's really cute. Anyway, there's some more combat or some more tension, and Wonder Woman eventually has to go back to Themyscira with her chaperones and all this stuff, and she promises she'll come back because this world is wonderful. I do really like this conversation she has. I never even imagined a day like this. Do you understand what you have here, why it's so special? I mean, this part of the city is pretty sweet. No, your whole world. In the last few hours, I've only seen a fraction of it, and certainly there is darkness. But there's so much wonder here. They teach us the horrors, dictators and war and abuse of power. They say our little world is the only world in which true peace is possible. But I can't believe that. I can't believe in a world of so many amazing things that people can't come together and be extraordinary. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. It's all kind of big. But today, I don't think today could have been as good without you. Just seeing how excited you were and how strong you were. It made me feel excited. It made me feel strong. I'm not going to lie to you, though. There's some pretty crummy things that happen in this world. I don't think your sisters were lying about that. But in all of that, you have a day like today, and it makes it all kind of worth it. I really like that. That's a really good message. Tynion actually writes a really good Wonder Woman. Between this and what he's doing with her in Justice League Dark, he has a pretty good voice for the character. I can't lie. But anyway, the Amazons take her back, but before they go, they must do one last thing. And that's eat more ice cream. Got a lot of mileage out of that joke, no lie. And we have The Problem with Cats, written by Lauren Beukes and art by Mike Mihak. This appears to be some kind of crazy story with Wonder Woman fighting Circe and Sheeta and Medusa, but then it turns out it's a little girl playing with her sister's dolls, getting herself in some trouble. Drew all over one of the Barbies. And so she has to stay home and clean up her mess while her sister goes out to a movie, which instead she just keeps playing. And then when her sister comes home, a dog that's off his leash starts running at her like an idiot. It freaks her out. So her little sister, inspired by Wonder Woman, throws the invisible jet, which is a plastic container, at the dog to stop it from charging. The owner comes and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. He's not going to hurt you. He's just stupid." And then that endears the sisters to each other. The older sister feels bad for getting all angry and stuff, and then they play together. Nice little sweet story. Again, this is definitely This is a more polished art style, I'll definitely say, but it's not the typical kind of art you see in comics, in modern superhero comics, I should say. But it fits the story really well. It does really work for the context of the story, so I was able to really appreciate it. Girl's Day Out, written by Celise, Cecil. Is that Cecil or Celise? Or I'm not sure. Cecil Castellucci. This is the woman writing the Female Furies book right now, with art by Chris Sprouse. This is Lois Lane and Wonder Woman hanging out for an interview. I believe I reviewed this issue when the single issue was out. So if you want more in-depth thoughts on that, you can go find that video, hunt it down somehow. But anyway, Lois Lane is interviewing Wonder Woman. It's super condescending until Wonder Woman has to come in and save the day because of giant robot attack and blah, blah, blah. But Lois Lane uses her Twitter followers to help save the day too, because the robot spawns all these monsters that can only be destroyed by dirt for some reason. Quite a weakness. Anyway, she's able to use her Twitter followers to bring dirt and stop the monsters from overrunning the city. So Lois Lane and Wonder Woman have a newfound respect for each other by the end of the issue. Yeah, cool, fun. Just a fun issue. Not much to it. Is it the final story, or is there anything else after that? Okay, there's at least one more. Next issue is called VIP, written by Sara Ryan, with art by Christian Deuce. This is about a pop star who's kind of like a bit of a Miley Cyrus type. Not quite to that extreme, but was a child star, is now transitioning to, more of a adult medium, adult contemporary. It's not played as dramatically as Miley Cyrus's image change, but it's definitely hinting at that. And anyway, she's been getting death threats and creepy stalker attacks and stuff, and Wonder Woman's brought in because she's friends with the bodyguard of the singer. So she's brought in to help with security, and they find out it's actually been the head of security that was behind all these threatening things. And so they have to, stop him and get him to admit that he just wanted to have this girl constantly be in the little girl attitude, and he says a bunch of dickish things. These were lessons I was providing to make it clear that this direction she seems to want to go in simply isn't appropriate. But she wasn't getting the message that we need girls like her to stay girls, to stay feminine and sweet and wholesome, and stand against what this sick culture wants to make them into. And it's not just her female fans this affects. I'm telling you that when girls try to take on these kinds of roles that they just aren't suited to, it also disempowers men. I like the reaction to this. Isn't that lasso supposed to have powers? The lasso compels truth, but it can't stop mansplaining. Oh, the shade. I don't know. That's an interesting one. Certainly, we can talk about the over-sexualization of young women in pop media, and certainly that is not fully for the benefit of female empowerment of imagery, but at the same time, the attempts to repress and stop it are pretty fucking blatantly misogynistic in and of themselves. So it's an interesting conversation, but yeah, the guy's clearly in the wrong, and anything stalker, even remotely stalkerish. If ever you're doing something and you think, hey, does this come off as stalkerish? The answer is almost 100% yes, and that you should stop doing it. So that was pretty good. And that's the there's a friendship built between Wonder Woman and the singer, and she, to show her gratitude, gives Wonder Woman a secret link to download the new album. And Wonder Woman's like, "This is my jam." It's sweet. The next issue is called Casualties of War, written by Aaron Lopresti with Aaron Lopresti is the writer and artist on this issue. In this issue, Wonder Woman finds that a dragon has attacked the city, and she goes and discovers the dragon, and the dragon's upset because apparently the Amazons killed its people, its fellow dragons, in a war long ago fought. But the dragon god came to him and said, "I can give you the daughter of the Amazons, and you can kill her as retribution." But really the dragon god was Ares. And so Wonder Woman tries to talk reason into the dragon, but unfortunately it is hell-bent on killing her, and so she has no choice but to end its life, and she feels very bad about that. So she goes to the island it hailed from and erects a statue to him. Here lies the last dragon of Castorostas, a casualty of war. She makes a pledge to fight off anyone that, or find out who deceived the dragon and led to its death. Really, it's a great collection of stories. I like this thing because it's the kind of thing I can just give to someone who's like, "Hey, I want to read some good Wonder Woman. What's some good Wonder Woman?" I can just throw this at their head, which is always nice. I've read Volume 1 now. I've read Volume 2, so if you want to go find Volume 1 in the Trade Talk episodes, you can do that as well. See if I can remember to leave a link in the description, but let's be honest, I probably won't. But yeah, plenty of good stuff here. Nice story. Nice stories, nice fun, simple. I like that they're... Like, I've read some of these before. I know for a fact I have. But I couldn't recall all the details. So they're nice and simple and short to the point where they'll actually leave your head a little bit. So this is the kind of thing you can go revisit. Like, you can't necessarily revisit Nightfall. Like, once you read Batman Nightfall, that's it. You've read Batman Nightfall. You know what happens. You know how the story goes. It is impactful. It leaves an impact. But these are nice, short, simple stories. So you can just read the single issue, read the sections of them, and then walk away from it for 3 years and then come back. So, yeah, really, really enjoyable stuff. The issue with Noelle Stevenson doing the art and James Tynion IV writing it was absolutely the highlight of this collection. If you don't want to go get that issue, if you don't want to get the whole trade, I think that issue alone is worth it. Wish I knew which one that was in. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I don't know. Wonder World, whatever issue has Noelle Stevenson's name on it. Go get that one. Yeah, good series. All right, that's going to do it for Trade Talk, everyone. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye. And for everyone that stuck around all throughout comic reviews, I appreciate you being here too. Everyone have a great night. I'll catch you later.